Good afternoon. Today is the May 18th. Council briefing will come to order. It is 2:02 p.m. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Rivera, Councilmember Saka,
Here.
Councilmember Strauss,
Here.
Councilmember Foster, Councilmember Juarez, Councilmember Kettle,
Here.
Councilmember Lynn,
Here.
Councilmember Rink,
Present.
Council President Hollingsworth.
Here.
6 present.
Awesome. Thank you. There's no if there is no objections, the minutes of May 4th, 2026 will be adopted. Hearing no objection, the minutes are adopted. There are no presentations or executive sessions scheduled for today. The introduction and referral consent calendar, there are 20 items on the introduction and referral calendar, bills, minutes, and 2 appointments to the customer review panel. We have 4 proclamations for discussion and signature. For the record, we are joined by Councilmember Juarez and Councilmember Foster. Thank you. A reminder that council briefing, that is, and sorry, I just looked at Councilmember Juarez and it threw me off. It's good to see you. Sorry.
Late because of Councilmember Foster, so
Okay.
just so the record reflect that. No. Miss
Foster,
Soccer,
it is
Miss Soccer
it is
player.
amazing to see you. Okay, not just good. Council briefing and city council are canceled on May 25th. That is our council briefing, and full council meeting the 26th. So our next scheduled city council meeting is June the 2nd. Awesome, just making sure we know about that. On June 1st, colleagues, council briefing, council central staff will provide a briefing on affordability in Seattle in light of the upcoming levy and rate increasing proposals. So we have council central staff presenting to the council about the levies that are currently, being paid on right now, and then also ones that are coming down the pipeline as well, to do a table setting for us so we understand how they all interconnect. And if there's any stuff offline we can talk about that you all want to see in there, more than happy to discuss. But I think it's good from central staff perspective to tell us about what we have voted on in the past, what's currently being paid on, cap, everything you could possibly think of about affordability, because I think it's important. And so that will be on June the 1st at 2 p.m. for our council briefing. So we will have a presentation. We will be on the dais for that meeting. Awesome. I'm looking at a lot of head nods, so that's great. So today we have 4 proclamations for discussion and signature. I'm going to ask each council member to introduce the proclamation and seek any final feedback before I request roll call to council members to affix their signature to each proclamation. This is just a reminder. I think we only have 1 being presented tomorrow in council. I'm looking at the other council sponsors, and because I know Councilmember Lynn and I have one that's coming tomorrow that will be presented in council. Everyone else is presenting them in community. Awesome. Okay. So Councilmember Rink has a proclamation recognizing May 24th as Eritrean Independence Day. Councilmember Rink.
Thank you, Council President. Colleagues, I'm bringing forward this proclamation today for signatures to celebrate the Independence Day for Eritrea. It is one of the most important days in the Eritrean diaspora. We are proud to work with community organizations to celebrate this day and recognize our incredible Eritrean leaders here in Seattle and their contributions to our city. So inviting all of you to join community members in the celebration at Seward Park Amphitheater, actually this Saturday, May 23rd, to celebrate this incredible day. It is a really fun festival. I try and go every year, and so would love if you all would join me and ask for your signatures today. Thank you.
Colleagues, is there any comment regarding the proclamation before we call the roll? Awesome. Will the clerk please call the roll to find out who would like to affix their signature to the proclamation?
Councilmember Saka,
Aye.
Councilmember Strauss,
Aye.
Councilmember Foster,
Yes.
Councilmember Juarez,
Aye.
Councilmember Kettle,
Aye.
Councilmember Lynn,
Yes.
Councilmember Rink,
Yes.
Council President Hollingsworth.
Yes.
8 signatures will be affixed to the proclamation.
Awesome. Thank you. Next, Councilmember Foster, you got 2 proclamations.
2 proclamations. Thank
Off
you.
to you.
All righty. Colleagues, I'm really excited today to bring forward not 1, but 2 proclamations, both helping us welcome in June as Pride Month, which I'm thrilled and looking forward to. So I'm going to bring forth the first one, which is our general June proclamation for Pride. It's an opportunity for us to celebrate all of our LGBTQIA+ residents and community, of which I am a part of, and I know other other members of this council are, and we look forward to getting to present this proclamation to folks and celebrate Pride because Seattle is one of the things we pride ourselves on is being a welcoming city and being a place where all of our queer residents can feel safe and warm and welcome. And I know that everyone has not felt that way, especially in recent days. And so I'm looking forward to this as an opportunity for us to celebrate and reaffirm our commitment to Pride and to welcoming June in with that spirit. So I ask for your support, colleagues.
Awesome. Are there any comments? Thank you, Councilmember Foster, for bringing that, drafting it, and doing that. Are there any comments regarding Pride Month proclamation? Awesome. I'm just glad that we have another council member on the team who can draft it too on the proclamation. So I like the rotation between the council members. Okay. Will the clerk please call the roll for Pride? Who wants to put their signature on the Pride proclamation?
Councilmember Saka?
Aye.
Councilmember Strauss?
Aye.
Councilmember Foster?
Yes.
Councilmember Juarez?
Aye.
Councilmember Kettle?
Aye.
Councilmember Lynn?
Yes.
Councilmember Rink?
Hell yeah.
And Council President Hollingsworth.
Yes, aye.
8 signatures will be affixed to the proclamations.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Next, we have Councilmember Foster. Back to you for Pride Asia Day.
That's right. I am so excited to bring forward a second proclamation for Pride Asia. So Pride Asia is a powerful reminder about intersectional identity and gives us an opportunity to celebrate LGBTQ, Asian, and Pacific Islander communities who are creating their own spaces to be seen and protected and celebrated. In Seattle, about 17% of our city's population is Asian and Pacific Islander residents. And Pride Asia gives us an opportunity to ensure that LGBTQIA plus AAPI residents are celebrated. I look forward to presenting this proclamation later on this month for Pride Asia, and colleagues ask for your signature and support.
Awesome. And thank you for that, Councilmember Foster. And for the record, we have Councilmember Rivera. Welcome. I was actually supposed to suspend the rules so we could vote on both of them at the same time. I apologize. So we did one by one. Are there any other comments to talk about Pride Asia at all? Okay, awesome. Will the clerk please call the roll to see which council members would like their signatures affixed to the proclamation?
Councilmember Rivera?
Aye.
Councilmember Saka?
Aye.
Councilmember Strauss?
Aye.
Councilmember Foster?
Yes.
Councilmember Juarez? Councilmember Kettle?
Aye.
Councilmember Lynn?
Yes.
Councilmember Rink?
Yes.
Council President Hollingsworth. 9 signatures will be affixed.
Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Now we'll go to, thank you, Councilmember Foster, for all your work on that as well. Now we'll go to the last proclamation. I know Councilmember Lynn and I have a proclamation recognizing May 19th as State Champion Rainier Beach Boys Basketball Day. Councilmember Lynn, I'll toss it to you. I know it's your district. I'm not trying to overstep, but very happy to join you in this proclamation.
Thank you, Council President, and really just want to thank you for making this happen and for your leadership and what's that?
It's all you.
Oh, and just want to do everything we can to honor our incredible Rainier Beach boys basketball team and just show some love to the Rainier Beach community, which certainly needs all the love we can give it. So,
Absolutely. Thank you, Councilmember Lynn, partnering with your office on this. Rainier Beach boys basketball has won numerous championships, and we're going to be joined by them at the meeting tomorrow with Coach Mike Bethia, who's won his 10th basketball championship at Rainier Beach High School. So a legend in the community with Coach Mike, and then some players. They do have finals going on, so we might not have the full basketball team. It might only be Coach Mike as well, but we'll have somebody representing Rainier Beach High School tomorrow, which will be great. So we'll have the coach and maybe a few players. So we're excited about that. That will be presented tomorrow in Chambers. So thank you, colleagues, for that. We're now going to begin will the clerk please call is there any other comments regarding the proclamation for Rainier Beach boys basketball team? Awesome. I didn't even ask will the clerk please call the roll who would like their signature affixed to the proclamation?
Councilmember Rivera?
Aye.
Councilmember Saka?
Aye.
Councilmember Strauss?
Aye.
Councilmember Foster?
Yes.
Councilmember Juarez?
Aye.
Councilmember Kettle?
Aye.
Councilmember Lynn?
yes.
Councilmember Rink?
Yes.
And Council President Hollingsworth.
Yes.
9 signatures will be affixed.
Awesome. Thank you. Councilmember Rivera.
Sorry, Council President. I think you guys already did the Pride Proclamation, and I definitely want to sign on to that. So apologies, Phil. I don't know what we have to do to get my name on there, too. Can you do it?
I think that's acceptable in open session. Thank you.
Yes. We don't have to call the roll again, I'm assuming.
We'll add your signature. Yes.
Correct. Thank you. Thanks
So-
for adding my name to that.
So for the record, there's 2 proclamations for Pride, Pride Asia and Pride Seattle. And Councilmember Rivera would like her signature affixed to both.
Aye.
Awesome.
both.
And then, got you. And then there was an Eritrean day brought by Councilmember Rink, and just wanted to clarify, would you like your
Yes,
name?
please. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Awesome. Thank you, Councilmember Rivera.
Thank you, CP. Sorry about that.
No worries, you're good. We're going to now begin our next discussion on preview of city council actions and regional committees. I think we went to the right last time. How about we start back here with Councilmember Juarez and we'll go to the right, okay? So Councilmember,
Law school. Did you see my hand up? Okay.
I saw your face. Councilmember,
know what that's like.
Councilmember
Yeah,
Juarez.
all right, wow.
We'll go to you and you can go to the right.
Thank
Councilmember
you.
Juarez.
Thank you, Council President. Man, I thought I was going to sit back and slide here, but okay. Okay, here we go, guys. Let's see. Parks and City Light Committee, we have a meeting this Wednesday at 2 o'clock. We have 7 matters, including the data center resolution and some housekeeping matters. I want to briefly go over these 7 matters because I would like to vote on all of them, because some of them are just basic housekeeping. Seattle City Light 2026 Endangered Species Act Land Deed Acceptance, Seattle City Light Easement Conveyance to Puget Sound Energy, Seattle City Light Easement Conveyance to King County, and then the 2 that I'm going to focus in on in D1, current use taxation for Byers Bulldog Garden Pea Patch in West Seattle. That will be a separate public hearing and vote. And then we have Seattle Parks and Recreation Madison Beach Park Cooperative Preschool Operations in D3. That's their use contract and a vote. And Seattle Parks and Recreation Victory Heights Cooperative Preschool Operations and use contract and a vote. The last 2 that I mentioned on the use contract, which we're looking at right now, I just want those of you who are on committee to just focus in on the public benefit offset in the contract, which we will be looking at, and usually those are pretty straightforward. But as you know, when you have these contracts and you're using public facilities and public space, that the public benefit has to offset that. So we'll be looking at that. So those are the 2 things. And Parks has been really good about that in keeping those contracts balanced, that the public stays public. So those 2 contracts we'll be looking at and voting on. And last, the data center policy resolution that we've been working on. And I think I sent out an email to everybody, but I would welcome anyone who wants to let our staff know early if they would like to be potential co-sponsors as well. Last week, we, of course, met with our new Economic Development Director, Beto Yartze, and as you know, he was confirmed, or he'll go to full council, and so I was happy to vote yes on that confirmation. This week, at King County Board of Health meeting, we'll have it on this Thursday. We'll have briefings on the public health, Seattle King County prep for the FIFA Men's World Cup, the impact of inequitable access to massage licensure on workers in public safety, presented by the Massage Parlor Organizing Project, the overdose prevention and response report, and progress and innovation in HIV STI control. I don't know who else here is on Board of Health. You're on there? It's just you and I and you? Okay, so you two will be carrying the weight on that one. I'm just going to sit back and watch. So that's what I got going on, and that's it, Council President. Is there anything else you need of me?
Is there any questions for Councilmember Juarez? Seeing none. All right, passing the torch. Councilmember Rivera.
We're going
Going to the right. Is that okay? We can go to the left.
to go to the left, please.
I'm sorry, Councilmember.
Don't matter to me.
Councilmember Saka.
Yep. Let's go. All right.
It's bingo.
Good afternoon, colleagues. And the Transportation, Waterfront and Seattle Center Committee, informally known as STEPS, our next meeting is going to be on Thursday at 9:30 a.m. As always, we have a very packed and robust agenda. The first thing we're going to hear is a community panel talking about the urgent opportunity we have to renovate the Seattle Center once and for all. Members of the community, along with Acting Director Engstrom, are going to talk about the need there, the imperative, frankly. Next, moving on, we're gonna hear and consider and possibly vote on a new joint mayoral council proclamation affirming our city's commitment to modernize and upgrade and once and for all address the decades-long capital maintenance and renovation needs at Seattle Center. See the title of the agenda for the official language there, for those that care about official language. And it also, among other things, establishes that by 2027 or earlier, we will renovate the center. The third item on the agenda for next week next steps meeting on Thursday, we're gonna hear an update from our executive departments on unpermitted street vending. I know that's been a topic of discussion for a lot of the small businesses in your communities. And so we're gonna hear an update. There's been an interdepartmental team coordinated and convened, comprised of multiple stakeholders from SDOT and Parks and Fire and our King County Public Health. And so we're gonna hear from a few of those on Thursday. Fourth and finally is a briefing discussion and possible vote on the U Alley Street vacation that we heard at last committee. So again, very stacked, robust agenda, really looking forward to it. A few highlights from the community. I'll share that on Saturday, was delighted to join the mayor in partnership with community, more specifically the African Community Housing and Development Organization, as they launched this year's Delridge Farmers Market at a brand new location in High Point. So we participated in the ribbon cutting for that. Really important milestone because as we know, colleagues, this council has done a lot to expand food access and address food deserts, including by expanding our farmers markets, our resources for farmers markets, and providing culturally relevant food for communities that need it the most. So honored to be able to participate in this on Saturday. Been very active in community since the last time we've talked at this table in this forum, but I'll just share one other thing that's been on my mind and my heart as well. So a few weeks ago, I had the pleasure of joining the West Seattle baseball community at the Pee Wee Playfields in West Seattle, at the lower Pee Wee Playfields, because we did something that I think was really cool. We held a flag raising ceremony down there at the fields because they had a 30-foot flagpole that has been empty and bare for 3-4 years. And they wanted an American flag there, like has always been there. And they asked me in my office for some support. And I happen to have a few American flags lying around. I proudly fly one in my own home. And right next to a Black Lives Matter flag. So joined the president of West Seattle Baseball, and we participated in a flag raising ceremony. And we talked about the importance of the flag and what it means to community. I shared that from my perspective as a veteran who has fought for people's right to freedom of speech, and we're having these necessary and I think appropriate conversations around the country and around the region even, around what the flag means exactly, its continued significance and importance, or relative significance and importance in our country. And for me, I share that, and I think this is important because Memorial Day is coming up next week. We won't be here at this table because of a federal holiday, Memorial Day, but a lot of people fought and died for that flag. A lot of brave men and women, people fought and died for that flag. And the reason why we're able to have these really important and complex and nuanced policy discussions around what the flag even means to begin with is because of that fact. A lot of people sacrifice a lot for the flag. And I read in the Seattle Times in the last week or so, there was a call to action or a call for comments on, are we going to be cheering? Is anyone even going to be cheering for Team USA in the upcoming World Cup? Well, I will be, personally, and I will be continuing to raise my American flag and proud of it. And the flag is something where, again, a lot of people fought and died for our flag in our country, and I respect everyone's right to view the flag in whatever way that is meaningful to them. But patriotism and love for our country is something that I don't think should ever be politicized. I'm going to paraphrase the late great Mark Twain, who said something along the lines of, loyalty to the country always. Loyalty to the government only when it is earned. And I personally, and I think we all, are outraged by the actions of the current federal government. But the flag itself is something that I will continue to hold near and dear to me, and I think is important that we continue to remember symbols that should have historically always and should forever unite us. And the flag is one of those for me. That is all I have. Welcome any questions, comments, and if not, I will pass the baton if we're keeping going left.
Wonderful. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'll start with full council. At the last Land Use Committee meeting, colleagues were not ready to vote on my amendment about neighborhoods within shelters, and so I held it back to do something I hate doing, which is bringing an amendment to full council. Yet here I am, because that time did allow for more collaboration, more conversation. It's in a better place than it was before. It is the same amendment that I would have verbally amended, so it requires neighborhoods of 50 units, or by director's rule up to 75, but it does take out the requirement for controlled access, despite it being a really good idea. And so this allows for it to occur without the burdensome requirements. And so if anyone's got questions about that amendment, would love to chat with you, would love to earn your support. But moving on to Finance, Native Communities, and Tribal Governments. We had a special meeting of the Finance, Native Communities, and Tribal Governments Committee last Friday because this week I was supposed to be on a sister city delegation trip to Chongqing, China, that I am not on because of the work that's occurring at Sound Transit and the need for me to be here, present, and advocating on behalf of all of us. And so that's why there was a committee last week and not this week. So this week's committee, tomorrow's committee, is canceled. In last week's committee meeting, we recommended the confirmation of Dwight Dively as finance director, and we were briefed on the 2025 exceptions as well as the 2026 carry forward ordinances, which will be briefed and voted on in the committee again in the future. So again, this committee meeting is canceled this Wednesday, and Dwight Dively's confirmation will go to next week's full council meeting because last Friday's committee meeting was after the Thursday deadline to move to this following week. So on Sound Transit, thank you to Councilmembers Rink and Saka for coming to Sound Transit to testify. Councilmember Juarez, thank you for all your good work and your good words. Always appreciate you right there. I continue to fight for Sound Transit to deliver the light rail it promised to voters. That's Graham Street. That is even Boeing Access Road, even though it's not in our area, in our North King sub-area technically, and it is getting all the way to Ballard, and that means construction dollars on top of just design dollars. We are ever grateful that there are now design dollars, but it's the base minimum. Last week, I hosted a community conversation about the future of light rail in Ballard. Thank you to Councilmember Kettle for coming. Thank you to Councilmember Jorge Barone. We had Senator Noel Frame, Representative Liz Berry, Representative Julie Reed, as well as Sound Transit staff there. What I was just struck by was how powerful that delegation is, not necessarily in direct power, but just all together, all of us sitting up there united to say to Sound Transit, you need to deliver light rail to Ballard as you promised voters. So where we are right now is we have had 2 executive meetings on the chair's proposal at Sound Transit. We will not be having another executive meeting. We will be going straight to the full Sound Transit Board on May 28th. There are some amendments that I'm working on with Mayor Wilson, some amendments that I'm working on with North King colleagues. There's a few amendments that I'm bringing by myself. If you all have amendments that you think should be brought, we are past the concepts deadline, but I'm still here to work with you to see what I can do, right? The amendments have to be done this Friday, and they will be published early next week for the public to view. So again, I'm continuing to work on those proposals, and thank you again for testifying. If anyone would like to, I highly encourage coming down to testify on May 28th. It is at 1:30 p.m. Just let me know, and we'll have staff support you there. Out in District 6, we had the 17th of May sitting in my parade yesterday, where we had former Prime Minister Erna Solberg from Norway as our Grand Marshal. You know, as we all know, a Prime Minister is essentially the president in many different ways, and so it was amazing to get to spend so much time with Erna, who can just as easily speak to one another as if we're just two people on the street, and at the same time be able to speak about the importance of NATO and how Norway's intelligence efforts track Russian submarines that are not pointed at Norway. They're pointed at us, and that's the importance of that relationship. I also had office hours last week. I'll have office hours again this week. Just FYI, our sign-up link is broken, and so my team is manually signing people up for office hours right now. So if you've been waiting, that's what's going on, and we're excited to see you for office hours again this week. Chair, that is my report. Any questions? I have a question. Councilmember Waters.
Hey, Councilmember Strauss, I know that you and I have a long history about Sound Transit, and when we passed was it Sound Transit 3?
In 2016.
Okay. And can you just remind me, because I remember in the original plan, it was supposed to go through Ballard, then we moved it over a street. So where is the tension right now that they're going to kick it out to 20, what year?
Yeah, and so originally it was the West Seattle Ballard Link extension.
Right.
There were 3 components in that one plan. There was the West Seattle extension from Soto to the junction. Mm-hmm. There was Soto to Denny, essentially, which is a regionally contributed to downtown tunnel. There's Denny to Ballard, which is all, again, North King.
Right.
So if you think about it in this way, there's the West Seattle segment, there's the downtown tunnel segment, and then there's the Ballard segment. Where we are today is there's funding for the West Seattle segment, there's funding for the downtown tunnel to Seattle Center, and there's no construction funding from Seattle Center to Ballard, including Smith Cove and Dravis Street stations.
So I'm not trying to be provocative, but help me out here, because I remember sitting on Sound Transit for a couple of years. Wasn't the link for Ballard less expensive than the link to West Seattle?
When you look
The engineering piece?
When you look at ridership especially, there was a lot more conversation many years ago about where should that alignment be between Soto and West Seattle. No offense, West Seattle took longer to get to their final alignment than Ballard did. We all knew where we wanted it to go, right? So, but that's all in the past. They split the EIS off so that West Seattle's moving further faster. And where we are, though, is that the ridership numbers, so ridership to construction dollars, the Ballard Link extension has the highest ridership out of any line that Sound Transit's worked on. Now, at last week's executive committee, Sound Transit tried to provide data to show that the stations of Smith Cove, Inner Bay, and Ballard only represented about 40 to 45,000 riders. And that information was wholly inaccurate. It was so inaccurate that I asked a number of follow-up questions, which proved the point that they were providing information that was not based in reality. When Councilmember Saka brought Sound Transit to the Seattle City Council, they came and they spoke to us, and they spoke to us about the fact that it takes them 6 to 9, possibly 12 months to update our zoning changes through PSRC into Sound Transit's database. And so there are 2, potentially 3 different upzones that have occurred in Ballard and Inner Bay that have not been taken into account in their math, and it's potential that they haven't taken into account any of the increased zoning since 2016.
Okay, so without getting too much more in the weeds, on the 28th, do we come to talk to you about talking points to provide public comment to support the Ballard line?
You know, I'd always love your support, and what I shared with Councilmember Rink and Councilmember Saka last week is tell me what's most important to you, and I will help you craft the talking points that best support your position. And I really, you know, Councilmember Saka, I said to you after the committee, spot on, you did great. Same thing with you, Councilmember Rink. I think it's really important that the Sound Transit Board hears that we're engaged, especially because we are the closest city, like, we're the closest city hall to the Sound Transit Board, right? And every other board member has to travel far and wide to get there. It's just down the street for us. So it's always helpful to have our voice heard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Councilmember Strauss. And now we're off to Councilmember Kettle.
Thank you, Council President. I'll speak to flags later, but I wasn't expecting Norwegian intelligence coming up, talking about Soviet/Russian submarines and other things.
Heard me almost call him a Soviet sub, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah. Although at the Pravda, busy night, you know. So I wasn't expecting that. But if you'd like to speak about anything along those lines, come down to my office. In an unclassified setting, I should add. I don't want to get myself in trouble. This week, actually, first Public Safety Committee. We don't have it this week. Public Safety will be next week, and we'll have OEM leading this along with other representation, basically seeing where we are from like Emergency Ops Center for FIFA World Cup, using FIFA World Cup to kind of highlight the work that OEM does on this stage and in other related kind of circumstances. And so that will be the focus of next week's Public Safety Committee meeting. For this week, different things coming up. I just wanted to note this morning, I was at a data center, or data center for those who say data, here in downtown Seattle. Really important. It was a great tour to go on. It gives you some context in terms of the current state of play and what they do and who they support. Some really good points there with that. And speaking of technology, I'll be at the State of Technology Luncheon tomorrow, here again downtown. And then also this week, Wednesday and Thursday, Friday, I do this on a regular basis in terms of the 9 entities that come to my committee. So I'll be meeting with Presiding Judge Crawford Willis tomorrow, then also with Chiefs Barden and Barnes the next day. Checking in with the various departments that report to my committee. And then also on Thursday, we'll have Condo Connect meeting with community. So Condo Connect is a big one for District 7. As you know, there's a lot of condos in District 7. And so it's a good opportunity to have a constituent meeting with them. And then, so that's this week. Next week, this kind of goes to what Councilmember Saka was speaking to. On Monday is Memorial Day. And so I will be speaking at the ceremony at the Garden of Remembrance. And this will be very poignant because we're adding a name to the wall. Unfortunately, we lost someone during the Iran war, and that name is being added next Monday. And it will be honored on that day. And I will be giving a speech there at the Garden of Remembrance, which is right next to Benaroya Hall, for those that don't know. And that will be at 10 a.m. Also, mentioned Public Safety Committee meeting the following day on Tuesday. Got Habitat for Humanity luncheon, middle of that week. Even though I've been bumped up, like some others, I've been bumped off PSRC's committees, but I'm going to their General Assembly luncheon meeting because I've been there for the last couple of years with my colleague, Councilmember Saka, and I don't want to leave you hanging, so I'll be there even though I'm not on the executive committee or the Transportation Policy Board or the ad hoc committees and all these different things that Josh Brown had me working on PSRC. And then I also wanted to note, from last week, a couple things. One, I had a very good meeting at McDonald's at 3rd and Pine, talking about the challenges that are there. I had King County Councilmember Rod Demikowski was there, along with reps from King County Councilmember Mosqueda's office as well, talking about the issues that are being faced at that location and across the city. And one theme that came out of that is what can we do in terms of better city-county coordination and working in terms of our capacities to bring solutions to some of our challenges. And then later that day, I was at the Ballard, the Sound Transit Town Hall, and it is the Ballard Link Extension. But it's good to note that it's the downtown, South Lake Union, Uptown, Interbay Ballard Link Extension. And I've been speaking to this, and since I've already mentioned PSRC, so everybody knows my talking points, we have the state through the Puget Sound Regional Center, through the comp plan process, having us create a Ballard Regional Center on one hand, so we're densifying. Then the state, through Sound Transit 3, on the other hand, is taking away, essentially, for there's different reasons, but at the end of the day, they're taking away the transportation, the transit, the public transit option to get there. As everyone knows at this table, land use and transportation are two sides of the same coin. There is a disconnect that's happening, and it's really unfortunate. And a point that I made at the town hall too is that, and one reason why I said all those different locations, because right now the thought at Sound Transit is, oh, we'll just go to Seattle Center. Well, that's a problem because you can't do connection between light rail and buses, King County Metro buses, in Seattle Center, Uptown. It's impossible. It's too dense. So I don't know who was thinking that through. At a minimum, Smith Cove, but in a lot of ways, Dravis, if we're not going all the way to Ballard. If you want to have a healthy connection between two parts of transit, Seattle Center / Uptown is not the place to do it. In fact, you can't do it, so don't even try. And then the last thing that I've been saying on this topic, and I'll say it here with my public safety hat on, is I do not like the fact that they've decided they want to burrow the tunnel underneath the Emergency Ops Center and the Fire Alarm Center. And plus making a decision when OEM and fire were there, but then they were told to leave, and then when OEM and fire come back, next thing you know, oh, the decision's already been made. That's not good governance. So there's some serious issues here. Bottom line is, and I thank my colleague, Councilmember Strauss, because, by the way, fantastic job, running that town hall, being on top of every detail related to Sound Transit 3, is the fact that, getting the planning done is so important, because if we don't have that planning done, that's going to be a problem, like if something happens in terms of possibilities with federal funding and so forth. So we have to have that, the planning done completely for the line. And I know Sound Transit took me off a little longer than I anticipated. Sorry. But also last week it was great. I had MLK Labor visit. We had a tour, and then the Pacific Science Center luncheon with Director Will Doherty, who's stepping down. That was a great event. And the last thing I'll just say is to Councilmember Saka's point about the flag. I 110% agree with you, Councilmember Saka. It's so important to, as President Obama said, it's not about red America, white. It's the red, white, and blue of America, and that's what our flag represents. So thank you for bringing that up. Sorry, Council President, Sound Transit got me sidetracked for a second.
You're good. I'll just start, because I know I usually go last, but there's no order. We'll just go. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so next, and thank you for that, Councilmember Kettle. I just want to note for the record that when Councilmember Saka was talking about flags, you remained calm and, still. And then when Councilmember Strauss started talking about intelligence and all, he was like, eyes go wide. He's looking at me like, yeah. So I just wanted to point that out.
Just a bit of a surprise, that's
Okay.
all.
He looked at me. He just looked over and was like, did he say intelligence and submarine? That got Bob going. I just wanted to throw it out there. So anyway, that was really funny. Okay. So The next Governance and Utilities Committee meeting is going to be Thursday, June 11th at 9:30. Colleagues, what's coming before you tomorrow are 2 appointments from the Seattle Public Utilities, a customer review panel, the reappointment of General Manager Andrew Lee as well, and then SPU Flood District that we voted out of committee. We also voted out the storm code as well. So the new stormwater code, it is very wonky. It's a lot. So we are going to have that at the June 2nd meeting, because I know there was council members that wanted to understand it, to absorb it, because it's a lot, trust me. And I know if you need to talk to central staff just to kind of get abreast of what's going on, but it's a big, major code, and we still want to work with some groups so they can have an understanding as well regarding the stormwater code, just to make sure that there's, good knowledge all going around. So just know that those 3 pieces of items are coming to council tomorrow, except the stormwater code will be June the 2nd, okay? Also, external committees, I want to thank, I think I might have said this before, but thank everyone for signing on to the letter to King County regarding our wastewater rates, working with Councilmember Lynn on that and the mayor's office. So really appreciate you all signing on to that. And actually, I don't have anything else. Really appreciate the conversation about the flag and understanding the importance of it, and thinking about a lot of people died for the flag, for our country, and then people that within the United States died for what the flag could be, and the rolling back of our voters' Civil Rights Act of 61 years. And there are people that died for the right to vote and have died for the right for what that flag could be. And so really grateful for our armed services who died for protecting this country, and then the people that inside this country died for what they thought the flag could be, and how we are navigating that. Because this weekend there was a beautiful movement in Montgomery, Alabama, and thousands of people showing their protest of the redistricting of our South, and how there are amazing representatives that could not have a seat anymore. We think about some of those, Representative Clyburn, South Carolina. So anyways, I know that's on the top of people's mind, thinking about all those things, and we have a lot to move forward in this country. So anyways, but really appreciate the service folks on this council, Councilmember Saka and Councilmember Kettle, for your service. I won't say if the Navy's better than the Air Force, okay? I'm not here to battle. But I just want to say, just really appreciate you all, because I've learned a lot from when you all talk about your service, the dedication that you all have. Then Bob's still the intelligence guy, okay? He can tell if you're lying or not. He's looking at, are you twitching? Are your eyes up and down? Like, what's going on? But then, okay, I'm sorry, that's not what I was supposed to say. And then Councilmember Saka, for your dedication in the Air Force, and all that you sacrifice. So really grateful for both, and serving with both of y'all in this capacity. I think I speak for everyone and say we're grateful to serve with you in this new capacity of service. Councilmember Saka.
My pleasure. First off, Council President, I just want to thank you for telling the complete picture of service and sacrifice and what it means in this country from a foreign policy perspective and from a domestic policy perspective, and how those two things interrelate, and how there are some tremendous things to be proud of, and how we still have a long way to go in achieving the true, realizing the true values that our flag symbolizes. And because we haven't always lived up to our nation's ideals. And it's very clear from my perspective and a lot of people's perspective. But one thing that I am proud of this country, the progress that we've made as a country and better closing the gap between our stated values and people's everyday lived experiences in this country. Doesn't mean we don't have plenty more work to do, as evidenced by, the Montgomery rallies and elsewhere around the nation and even in our own city. One quick anecdote I'll share, because I think this is important. This is an important conversation. Is that, a friend and mentor of mine, legendary gentleman, African-American gentleman named Dr. Robert Radford, is almost 100 years old, World War II veteran, lives in Belltown, drives a Tesla. This person is the most interesting person in the world. I don't care about the Dos Equis guy. It's Dr. Radford in my book every time. But Dr. Radford was telling me a story in his service in World War II, how there were certain German prisoners of war in World War II who he had to ride the same train as them domestically in the United States. And when the German prisoners of war on that same train were able to sit and have appropriate accommodations, all the black service members who fought for this country and the ideals that it represented, they were forced to stand in the same train with German prisoners of war. Shameful. We clearly have a lot of work to do. We've made some great progress. Thank you for, all this to say, thank you for helping illuminate the complete picture. And I'm still proud of the progress, mindful, always more work to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Saka. Councilmember Foster, and then we'll keep going down the line.
Thank you, Council President. And thank you for that, Councilmember Saka. And when I was listening to you, it made me think about all of the folks who served and then came home and couldn't get a VA loan to get into home ownership, and how so much of that is what we are still trying to rectify today when we think about access, the ability to build wealth for generations. So anyways, thank you for sharing that. Both of my parents were in the Army, and service has been, I think, for a lot of Black folks in this country, especially Black people from the South. My family, my mom's side's from Virginia, a way to get a pathway into economic opportunity, which is very complicated, I would say, because I think, we won't get into that. I don't want to say anything, but it's very complicated. It's been both a pathway into economic opportunity, and it's also meant not having access and fairness historically to things that were available to all service members, as well as what it means when we think about some people would say the over-recruiting in some of our communities. So there's so much complexity and richness there, and I just appreciate you speaking to that. So thank you, Councilmember Saka. All right. Committee work. So colleagues, tomorrow there's going to be a few pieces of legislation in front of us that our office has been working on and sponsoring. We will have the opportunity to vote on creating the Hillman City Arts District as well as the Georgetown Arts District. So we are excited to bring those forward to full council. Really exciting work there. I know Councilmember Strauss already spoke to this. We will also be voting on the shelters legislation, and I appreciate the work that has been done in committee, and in particular the partnership from you, Councilmember Lynn, as chair of the committee, and the relationship and the work that the mayor's office did in sending this legislation down early. Really excited to bring this across the finish line tomorrow. I know we do have a couple of amendments that are coming to full council, so maybe we'll have a longer day tomorrow, but looking forward to some robust discussion on getting those finalized. One update from our housing committee last week, we brought forward as a discussion item something that my office has been working on for the last several months, which are updates, mostly technical in nature, to the Seattle Social Housing Development Charter that are targeted at ensuring that the developer can use their existing, once they have acquired or built buildings, that those buildings can be used as collateral. That's really important as you're thinking about the ability to secure any additional financing. It's, again, primarily a technical change change. So we briefed on that in committee last week, and we look forward to discussion in the coming weeks. There is a lot of work that went into this potential change, and given the way that the developer is structured, as well as the recent votes by the public, there's a very technical process that we need to take in order to amend the charter that my office has been closely following. So I appreciate the work that we will do in the next few weeks in committee to ensure that we adhere to that. And colleagues, if you have questions, my office is available to answer those. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Councilmember Foster, Councilmember Lynn, followed by Councilmember Rank. We just keep going.
All right. Thank you all. To Councilmember Strauss, just on the thank you for your leadership on the Sound Transit Board, and thank you to colleagues and who've been fighting for everything that was promised to voters, including the Graham Street Station. Likely will be appearing on the 28th to testify in favor of keeping that alive. We had previously scheduled a land use committee meeting, but we rescheduled that given that conflict. And so many people, I think, will want to be at that Sound Transit meeting. Also, just want to point out May is Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander month. And so just did an office proclamation over the weekend. There was a Walk for Rice event for ACRS, Asian Counseling Referral Service. So honored them and all the service they provide to our community. And coming up this week in the Land Use Committee, got quite a few things. We've got the data center moratorium. Council President Hollingsworth, I believe you're co-sponsoring that, which is great. Thank you for that. And just want to, again, note for the record, we're really focused on the mega data centers. We do have a lot of smaller data centers that are existing. Plan to check some of them out in person as well. But this is really focused on the interest in these much larger data centers that are being proposed. We also have housing opportunities legislation coming up, and we also have some SEPA legislation coming up that'll be introduced, and this is focused on council legislation or legislative acts and SEPA appeals to the hearing examiner. So there will, what we will be discussing is removing the appeals to the hearing examiner, which often just results in significant delays to legislation, as we have seen in the past. We don't see other types of legislation having these types of appeals. We don't appeal our budget to the hearing examiner. These type things like our comp plan affect our entire city. And all of our residents, and for a single resident to be able to cause delay of several months, oftentimes without any change to that legislation, it's something that I think is worth taking a look at. So that will be on the agenda for Wednesday as well. As mentioned already, we'll have the shelter legislation coming up with a couple of minutes, and look forward to that discussion. If anybody has any questions, happy to field them. Otherwise, thank you.
I have a question, Councilmember Lynn. Just on that SEPA appeals, are you saying we would eliminate SEPA appeals altogether? Or would someone else, like a different body, be? I'm just trying to understand.
Correct. Yeah, it would be appeals of legislative acts, SEPA, and it would remove the hearing examiner. So many other jurisdictions do not, it's sort of a voluntary process that we do, it's not required, to allow somebody to go to the hearing examiner first. They will still have an appeal to court, but this would remove it only for legislative acts. So there's lots of other SEPA appeal processes that people will still continue to have that appeal to the hearing examiner. But so this last time, and there are still appeals going on of our comp plan. So last year, you might recall, there were appeals of the environmental review of the comp plan. They were dismissed, and then now they're being appealed to court. So that stop at the hearing examiner would be removed if this, that's what the proposal is.
And then they can still go to the courts.
Correct. They could
Got
still
it.
go to court. Yep.
Thank you for the clarification.
I have a question too. So I understand that, and I actually like hearing examiners. It's a buffer in there.
Yeah.
It lets them do the fact finding where we're not in a quasi judicial position.
Right.
Yep.
Which I appreciated when we did the lid in the waterfront because we had like 68 lawsuits.
Right.
But let me ask you this. So, and we can talk more offline.
Yep.
When you say just limited to legislative, can you give an example? Like what is a legislative that would come out of this branch where we would skip hearing examiner and go to King County Superior Court?
So again, our comprehensive plan is a legislative. So, there's lots of permits that SDCI does that are non-legislative just for, some project. Maybe in the future we might have a data center regulation that, there could be a permit that would have a SEPA appeal. But for legislative acts, so rezones, the comprehensive plan, those are legislative in nature. Those SEPA appeals would not go to the hearing examiner. We are acting in a legislative capacity in those cases, like our comp plan, so not a quasi-judicial capacity. Those would not go to the hearing examiner first before it came to council. It would just come to council, and then if there's appeal, it would go straight to court.
So would the action that we take be told while it's pending in King County Superior Court?
I do not believe so, but we should get a briefing from the law department on that effect.
Yeah, because that will, their docket, that's why you like a hearing examiner, you can get it done quicker, but if you let them go to court,
Right.
we don't, it's all up to how many cases are there, and it could sit there for a year.
Right. So I don't believe. I think it would be effective unless it was overturned. But the currently with the hearing examiner, there's just built-in delays, and we're not able to take action. This would allow us to take action, and then, but again, we'll hear from the law department on the effect of an appeal. But I don't believe that would put it on hold.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And toward that point, I also want to hear more about the delays piece, because I know last year the hearing examiner heard that fairly quickly and actually, issued their decision to dismiss very quickly. So I would love to hear more about, if we're going to take something off the table, the unintended consequences and impacts to the body and to the constituency as well, and hear more about the hearing examiner and their thoughts around this as well.
Absolutely. These are great questions, so I look forward to engaging with. No, they are good questions, and they are good questions, and certainly if you're able to join on Wednesday, or if not, and again, we should get a briefing from the law department as well.
Yeah.
It's quite possible that we'll need to schedule an executive session for that at some point.
Thank you.
Councilmember Lynn hit you with that nice email at the end, and I look forward to our discussion. Councilmember Rink.
Thank you, Council President. I'll be brief. This past Friday at the Human Services, Labor, and Economic Development Committee meeting, we voted unanimously to recommend Acting OED Director Beto Yarse to be confirmed. I think committee members know this. Beto is a gem, and we are really excited. I'm particularly excited for the whole body to vote on his appointment. And at that same committee meeting, we also voted unanimously to recommend the passage of the resolution co-authored by myself and Councilmember Foster on next steps with KCRHA. I want to thank Councilmember Foster for her leadership and partnership throughout this process, and a thank you to Councilmember Kettle as well as an alternate to KCRHA's governance board and his attention and thought partnership through this process. And a huge thank you to my committee colleagues for your deep engagement and really thoughtful questions. Your leadership in this moment matters, and I thank you for that. We're going to continue to be in close coordination with King County council members Barron and Fain, who introduced a similar resolution that worked its way through King County Council, and continue our work as well with the mayor's office and King County Exec's office to make sure that we are handling this situation with diligence and good governance as we move forward. The next meeting of the KCRHA Governing Board is this coming Friday, and we will be sure to provide updates at the following briefing about how that meeting goes. Councilmember Juarez already covered what's happening at Board of Health this week, so thank you for that. We got it covered. My updates are brief today, so we've got, I just wanted to highlight 2 community events over the past week. On Saturday, what day is it? Nope, Sunday, I'm kidding. I joined alongside Councilmember Foster at the 16th Annual Pioneer Square Spring Clean event in preparation for FIFA. It was really great turnout. I think we had over 100 folks turn out. I got to pick up a fair amount of trash. A lot of folks did. And so really fantastic work, and huge shout out to Pioneer Square Alliance for their work pulling that whole event together. And then I also got to head out yesterday to District 6 to join First and 10 to Mai and see Councilmember Strauss in his element and march alongside them for a little bit. I will note for the record that they should absolutely allow you to ride a skateboard again in the parade, and it is a darn shame that they don't allow that anymore.
Whole nother conversation.
With that, I will end my updates there. Thank you all.
Any questions for Councilmember Rink? Awesome.
Sorry,
Councilmember
no
Foster.
questions, just a quick, and I know we saw Councilmember Saka's office there yesterday in Pioneer Square as well. So I got to see some of your staff, so thanks for having folks out.
Councilmember Rivera.
All right. Last rounding up the back here. Thank you for your comment, your update, Councilmember Rink, on KCRHA. I look forward to seeing what comes out of that. I know that King County, and we're trying to stay aligned, and I agree with staying aligned, and want to hear what direction that's taken. I will say I drafted a resolution to that's just waiting, if we should need it, to calling for the dissolution of KCRHA and the time and asking for a plan for how we would unravel that because the work absolutely has to get done. And I know our providers have been doing the work. The way as it was structured, though, KCRHA, it didn't work the way everyone initially intended, though everyone's intent was well placed. It just didn't work out the way everyone had hoped. I'll say it like that. So looking forward to how we go, how we take care of this situation with KCRHA. It is a serious one, and one that we need to take, with great responsibility. So looking forward to more to come on that. All right, I will say at the district, there were arrests made both in Q's, killing of Q in our district. And I know Councilmember Juarez, you were able to go to the memorial on Saturday. I was unable to be there, so thank you for being there on behalf of the council and Lake City. It was my side of Lake City, and we share Lake City, and I so appreciate your partnership and you being there to memorial.
We're good friends with the people that own Growler,
Yeah.
guys. And so I was at the memorial, and I think I share the information
Yes.
with you and Councilmember Strauss and Council President.
Yeah, thank you for that. And so I know that folks were gathered.
Yeah, a lot of, he went to Nathan Hale, my kids went to Nathan Hale, so there was a lot of crossover of all these young kids. And
Councilmember Boris, I think your mic is off,
sorry,
or you're not.
Just across, I just want to quickly say what you said, Councilmember Rivera, because we talked at the memorial. He's 20 years old. Nathan Hale graduate. My kids went to school. All of them, all connected. They all knew each other. It was, it was, it just, the gun violence, all that. It just, but the good thing was there was so many good people that showed up in music and musicians and all the local breweries and restaurants, all their staff showed up. And there are volunteers behind the bar, so people could actually, who work there, could celebrate Q's life with the pictures and the QR. I think I sent you the QR code. And raising money for the family. And, Well, we also had, a robbery at Walgreens and then there's 2 more shootings at Greenwood, so I could go on and on. But anyway, I'll just leave it at that. But thank you.
Yeah, thank you. A very young life gone way too soon. And then also Juniper Blessing, also from the district UW student, arrest was made and there as well. Sorry. This is young people, the violence in the city, as you all know, colleagues, I just, and I know we all feel this way. It's too much. And so wanted to raise that. Arrests were made in both those cases. And I really want to shout out the UW Police and SPD in the case of Juniper, who worked together. That is a strong partnership, and I so appreciate that. Also want to call out UW. I met with them last week, and I know that they have counselors ready to support their students, and I really appreciate them for their efforts to make sure that their students have access to counseling supports during this very difficult time for the UW community. All right. And I will say, actually, in both those incidents, there were security cameras that caught footage whereby SPD was able to make arrests. So again, to the conversation of cameras, I know it's a difficult conversation, and it is true that they're also helpful when we're trying to investigate crime and make arrests. So I'll just leave it at there in terms of that. Seems like we have a lot of confirmations. Tomorrow we have Department of Neighborhoods, Acting Director Quinn Pham, who her confirmation was voted out of committee, and it's coming before us tomorrow, so looking forward to having us vote to confirm her. Really, I've really enjoyed getting to work with her since she's been at the city, and I really, as you all know, colleagues, very much appreciate the Department of Neighborhoods work, so looking forward to that. I also want to say, in terms of the shelter legislation, appreciate we've moved with urgency and as we should, because we have folks living on the streets, and we need to take care of all our folks in our city. I am bringing two amendments to the legislation that I brought through committee and then pulled back because they needed additional work. Thank you to Council President for sponsoring that. I don't sit on that committee. And I talked to some of the providers and some other folks, and this is where I landed with both of these amendments. One is related to shelters close to schools. The state passed, which I didn't know at the time, 2266, which prohibits our ability to be restrictive in terms of shelters near schools, but we are allowed to do, and this is what the amendment will do, is we have the ability to have our SDCI director working with our HSD director and the provider, the tiny house village provider, the ability to work together with the schools if there should be additional security things that should be in place to help set up the shelter for success and the surrounding area for success near those schools, that can happen. So that is not prohibitive, and the amendment just says that please work together to make sure if there's additional safety measures that need to happen, that need to be put in place, that can happen, working together, of course, between the city, the provider, and the school. It just gives us the ability to make sure, as I keep saying, we want to set shelters up for success. That is the ultimate goal. So that is one. And then the other amendment had to do with security. Talking with the providers in my district, security has been really important to them, and they provide security overnight, which then actually their staff and their residents and the surrounding neighborhoods have all very much appreciated, and the providers have seen that doing that has actually been a great benefit And it is a cost that is incurred, but they've seen a benefit to that cost that they've had to incur because we've seen positive outcomes from them being able to provide overnight security. So they have, in this case, it is a third-party security guard that's there, and it helps their staff even with other residents. It helps provide support to the staff when they're working with other residents within the development, the housing. And it also helps with the outside folks that might be, you know, in the surrounding area that are trying to take advantage of the residents that are in the housing. And it helps safeguard staff. So it's been really positive all the way around, and they've seen some positive improvements by way of public safety. And I've met with residents who, at the housing, who appreciate having the security there. So the amendment doesn't say it has to be a third party. It's just it needs to be overnight security. It's not prescriptive on hours because the housing providers know which days of the week and which hours that are most helpful as they've engaged in providing security at the housing developments that they oversee. So it's not meant to be prescriptive, but it is meant to be supportive and, again, make sure that we're setting up these tiny house villages for success. And that is the ultimate goal of that as well. So it is my hope that you all support these amendments because they really are meant to ensure that the residents that are living there and the neighbors that are nearby are all having success with, you know, being good neighbors to each other at the end of the day. So that's what really this is about. I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I will also say that I attended last week's Mary's Place annual luncheon. Mary's Place is an amazing organization. I saw some of you there, colleagues. We weren't sitting at the same table, OPMA. But I know that we all very much support this incredible organization that provides shelter to women and their families. And it is a real resource and asset to our city. And I can't say enough about the amazing work that they do. So I was very, very happy to participate with them. And then this week I have PSRC and WIRA 8 as my external committees. And I think the last thing I'll say is I want to recognize our colleagues for your service, Councilmember Saka and Councilmember Saka, and to all our city residents, men and women who've died serving to protect us. And I can't say it better than you said, Councilmember Saka, so I won't, but a +1 to what you said. And that is it. Happy to take any questions.
Colleagues, are there any questions for Councilmember Rivera? Councilmember Foster.
Thank you so much, Council President. Thank you so much, Councilmember Rivera. Excuse me. Just a quick question. I won't go into too much. I'll save it for committee tomorrow. But in regards to, you mentioned that you had been communicating with some of the providers in your district who are already doing this kind of security coverage. And could you clarify, were those like permanent supportive housing providers, shelter providers, or both?
There are low-income housing and permanent supportive housing providers where we've seen some security issues that the residents themselves have experienced. And also that, so what I'm trying to say, it's not just the neighbors surrounding the buildings. It's actually the residents also who bear the bigger brunt because they're living there. So what security has been able to do in some instances, for instance, is if there are two residents having an issue, security has been able to help them work those issues out rather than it, you know, what they've experienced is less 911 calls and less incidents since they've instituted overnight security. And then, like I said, they've done it in a way where it works depending on days of the week and the particular permanent supportive housing versus low-income housing, but there are a lot of similar folks living in all of these housing units, and I don't think it's dissimilar to the tiny house villages. And there is a tiny house village nearby, and I think it has benefit everyone that's lives nearby where the providers have had security present because they're able to help, like I said, with the residents there with staff, because it doesn't put staff in a position where they have to manage for public safety issues, and then for the surrounding neighborhood. So that's great. It really has had a huge improvement on the public safety side, and I think it's beneficial for everyone living there and everyone living near there. Any other questions, Councilmember Foster?
No, I was just trying to figure out if it was like multifamily buildings or if it was shelter or PSH or RVs. And it sounds like what I heard you say was low-income housing providers. And I think I gathered that they were
PSH
serving,
also.
and I think I gathered that they were serving clients in buildings, not in tiny home villages. I think that's what I gathered from your comments.
These particular providers in this particular location, but there is a tiny house village nearby who've dealt with public safety issues as well.
Got it.
Awesome. Are there any more questions? Okay, colleagues, is there any more business to come before the council briefing? Just a quick reminder, May 25th, the council briefing is canceled because it's Memorial Day. The following day, we do have a public safety committee at 9:30 on the 26th, but the full council meeting is canceled. So there is a public safety meeting, the full council meeting is canceled. We will be back here full body on June the 1st for our council briefing, which will have a presentation from central staff about affordability and taxes and levies, all that good stuff. And then we'll have a full council meeting on June the 2nd. All right, but the council meeting for this Tuesday is still going. So we'll see everyone tomorrow. And then just a heads up, you know, we have these council briefings every other week. June, July, and August are going to be jam-packed. There are select committees. There's a lot of legislation that's being transmitted. There are things that we have to pass. There are timelines. So we're going to be gauging and doing temperature checks on giving back people their Monday time because there's a lot of work that is in committees. So just wanted to state that for the public, that if we need to sign proclamations, that we will do those at full council. So that is something that we can do at full council for proclamations, but understand that, you know, we're getting to this every other week, but we can reserve the right to cancel those, to fill it in with a meeting or, you know, other things. I want that time to be flex and then to give it back to you all so you can work and do all of the research that you all do during this process. Is that cool? Awesome. Thank you all. If there's no other agenda items, this meeting is adjourned. It is 3:19 p.m. Thank you.